have overcome. You all invite and share to the live one tonight. We have an important conversation, and I'll say a much needed conversation that we're going to have with our special guest here, Cortney Lee Smith. It's such a pleasure to have you here on tonight.
I'm excited. Made sure we made it back in time.
I know it. I'm excited too. I'm so glad that you pressed on in because this is a conversation that we need to have. Tell me a little bit about yourself, Courtney.
I'm Cortney Lee Smith, and I can actually say I began this journey as a ministry really to empower me and my husband. We both lost our spouses, same year, same month.
Oh, wow.
Yes, this month right here too, actually. Same year, same month. Then we got married New Year's Eve.
Wow.
So what you say, the God of second chances.
Yes.
Really. So he took us through our own grief journey. And we realized there are a lot of people that don't have skills and tools of really grieving in a healthy way. You know, we teaching people to be silent, to suffer, to bottle stuff up. A lot of, grief people, we tell people be strong, don't cry. That's, or everything gonna turn back to normal soon. And those are things that we tell people, but they're wrong. They're wrong, and you're waiting for that. And people have been grieving like 10, 20 years waiting for this promise that people gave them.
Right. And that's what I have been seeing. Like people, they suffered a loss in 3 years down the line or 4 years down the line. That some people are still grieving.
Yeah, they're holding their breath, waiting for normal to come back.
Exactly.
Like even right now in this COVID season, when it first came out, people was like, "Oh, we can't wait till normal get back." Everybody's waiting to the point you can take the mask off and nobody's saying anything about COVID anymore. What people have to realize, anytime anything traumatic happens, it's intentional for us to get out of our comfort zone and never go back. It's the whole point is to never go back.
Right.
That was the whole thing. If we remember, when they broke out of the Red Sea, they wanted for 40 years because they were so focused on trying to get back to their normal. They were so focused on trying to struggle. They were so focused on trying to be slaves and get back to the comfort of slavery.
Yes.
Not to the promise of plentifulness. And we don't, we always talk about that greater later in scripture, but we don't want to take that walk to the later.
So do you think that a lot of times people just get accustomed to that? They just get accustomed to the suffering or the pain, and
we get stuck ignoring it.
Okay.
Ignoring it. We don't accept change very well. So we hide it in various ways. We think we've healed. We become shopaholics. We drink or become workaholics. We do anything to really not have to deal with the situation. And if we're not careful, that's what becomes our new normal. That functioning, but not fully living.
Yes. Can you explain to them now? So your situation is what drove you into to being a grief counselor.
Well, that situation, and then I ended up having an accident at work. So that wonderful, what I had determined was going to be the end of my career in retirement didn't do as I thought it was going to be. So I ended up hurting and injuring myself, and it was like, okay, God said, now I've taught you these skills. You learned this, for a reason.
Yes.
So you can sit here and wallow and a retirement mentality and stay shut off.
Right.
Or you can get out here and shut other people on too. Click a switch.
Okay.
And go out and live.
Click the switch.
Yeah.
All right. So can you explain to them what grieving is? We know a lot of people are, they're in that state, but they don't know they're in that state. What does that state look like? Is it different for other people?
Well, grief is different in how we process it.
Okay.
It's different how we process it because me and you could have lost the exact same person, our mother. But we had a different relationship. It's different dynamics with our mother. So it's going to look different for each of us, but we're all going to be going through the same type of process.
Okay.
And I don't like to call it stages because a lot of people get into this performance. That's why I like to call it stages.
Them 7 stages. Okay.
Yeah, and then they just repeat them. They keep repeating them because they don't have skills to jump outside of that box.
Right.
And I think a lot of times that becomes where you get into a dependency of a counselor, a dependency of therapy because you haven't, actually got skills because unfortunately grief is going to happen again. So it's a
part of life.
So that talk got you through that situation. But when it happens again, What are the skills that you have in place so you don't slide back down the hill again? What are those skills that you have in place? And unfortunately, we wake up and grieve every day. We grieve the loss of our expectations of what did not happen yesterday the way we wanted to. It's not just about death. It's death of our finances, death of our expectations, death of our dreams, death that I'm not 20 no more. You know?
Right, exactly.
Just those things we wake up and say, well, God, I thought I was going to have this by. And grieving to me is to push you closer to God. And if we really go back in the Bible and read the scripture, and that's why I say grief is good, because grief is supposed to push you into God. It's supposed to push you in to see how he wants to grow you. So I always tell people it's an R process. That's an opportunity for us to release burdens, release our expectations, and really just have a conversation with God. So release is the first thing. All this worldly stuff, like you say, oh, by 30, I thought I was going to be doing this. I thought I was going to be a millionaire, have this, the 3 cats, the 3 cars, whatever it is that you thought was going to be there. Or you thought somebody was going to live till they were 100. Or you thought your death was going to be this way. I can remember actually telling my nephew a day ago, and we just, like you told me, we pushed him from a funeral just this weekend.
Right.
And I was just telling my nephew, in my mind, my death is I'm going to go to sleep in my bed and it's going to all be nice and comfortable.
Right.
That's the way I want it.
Yes.
That's not the conversation God is going to necessarily lay it out for me.
Right.
And we've all laid out our death and our loved ones' death in a wonderful, peaceful way in our mind.
Yes.
But that's not God's definition of it for us. Because if it turns out that wonderful, we don't lean into him. We don't lean into him. And grief is all about leaning into him. So first, so we can release. Then we can reinvent ourselves. Yes. Because every day we're supposed to be rediscovering and becoming a new person. And then reintroducing ourselves as a new person. So if we can travel through those, every day, every morning. Every day God says, I want you to become a new creature. That's why God has to take us through tribulation and trials. Because if he didn't, we wouldn't change. We wouldn't become new. We would get so comfortable and complacent that I have everything that I need. Besides a deeper relationship with God. It's all meant so we start asking questions. We start digging in his word. What does his word say about this situation?
Yes.
And if we don't actually see that, and it says that we are supposed to mourn, we're supposed to cry, we're supposed to bury.
It's natural.
Yeah, those are the things that we're supposed to go through. But in society, like I said, we've laid out this taboo thing that you never let people see you cry. You never let people know that you're not strong. And then we're teaching our kids, the next generation, how to bottle it up,
suppress it,
implode on the inside of us. And even at the funeral, we're doing it because we haven't been taught skills on, let's not fall out with our brothers and sisters and everybody else who at the funeral because we mad that things didn't happen the way they happened. So now we've had conversations. I don't care what you say, words do hurt.
They do.
You've had conversations now that you've distanced yourself or disconnected yourself. And that is what unhealthy grief looks like. Disconnecting and distancing yourselves from people. Because you're not having a conversation with God. God didn't tell you to do that.
Right.
God is about peace. God is not about you disrupting, causing this division in your family.
And confusion.
Yes.
Because he's not the author of confusion.
Yeah, so that is the prime example for you to know that you're having unhealthy grief. If it's causing division, hurt, and harm to others, even yourself, when you feel like you're having a duplicity moment, a questioning who God made you, and why is this going on in your life? We always ask him why. He said, because it's a lesson, it's your assignment.
Wow. And so we have to know how to process that.
Yes.
Wow. So what my even the question I was going to ask you, that what an unhealthy relationship, unhealthy grieving look like in my situation. And I'm glad you brought that out, because my father, when my father left us, I'll say what happened between him and my mother, and he relocated, and we lost contact with my father. And so that hurt me, because I've never gained that relationship back. So the Lord, it was God that took me through the process of healing. But he also exposed to me that I was grieving. And I didn't associate that with grieving. You know, losing my father, abandonment from my father. I didn't associate that with. So since I was probably 10 on up, or maybe 5, somewhere up in there, 5 when he left, I was grieving him. And so what happened in that grieving became a habitual behavior. Like you were just saying, you know.
You create something to numb it, suppress it, or avoid dealing with it. Because the kids say, where your daddy at? So you say something, flip smart, you become a fighter, you become a cup, you know, whatever it is to overcompensate for that. And we don't recognize how many people are really grieving things. Grief is really to cut back the root to the root. If you can find the root, I like to say grief is supposed to be a planning process. It's supposed to be planning. There should be a deep seed at the root of whatever is going on that allows you to go back and plan it. And I can tell you, it was one of the most wonderful memorial services we just went to. I mean, it was worship. It was truly worship. And one of the things you have to remember is, are you on your assignment? And that's what God will remind you in death, even the death of a parent in a abandonment. Sometimes that person had to be moved for you to stay on your assignment.
Come on.
That person had to be removed for you to stay on your assignment. So it's all about the assignment. And that's why I say it's going back to that seed. It's going back to whatever that seed is that God told us to plant. Because God told us all to plant something. We're all supposed to be farmers. According to His word, we all supposed to. He never denies. That's right. He never denies the farmer's seed. But when we stop planting, when we stop sowing peace, when we stop sowing unity, God stops giving us seed. And that means all we got buried is a lot of hatred, bitterness, and things that happen bad in our lives. And when we constantly see that, we know the seed is our heart. Whatever's deeply planted in your heart, that means you need God to do some tilling, some rooting. And that's why I say it's meant for you to lean in so He can really get deep down in you.
Wow. Yeah, because I believe that truly, if it had not been for God, I would have lost my mind. You know, I don't think that I would have made it because I was buried. You know, I was
buried
really
in that hatred.
Sabotaging myself, my life, people around me. You know, I was toxic. And a lot of people won't admit that.
But that's true.
Yeah, I was toxic as well as I was gravitating towards toxic people too.
Well, you're a magnet.
Exactly. So when he exposed me and let me know that that's what it was, and then he began to heal me in those areas. You know, those areas where I had suppressed all my emotions and feelings. But they were still coming out in my behavior, you know.
You said, in your behavior.
Yes.
And I want to say that for all the Christian people that's watching, this is like my thing right here. We focus so much on saying the scripture, ooh, I don't look like what God put me through.
Come on.
Oh, because as women, you know, we'll get done up on the outside.
Oh, yeah.
Even when you were being toxic, you were looking fly, weren't you?
Yes.
You had it all package all together on the outside.
All together on the outside.
But
I made sure that too.
But the problem is we always acting like what we've been through.
That's what it was.
I don't care
I couldn't cover it up.
How many years you say you've gotten past something. The first opportunity you get to bring it back up. That's how somebody know you weren't healed. That's how I know you still mad. That's how I know you still angry, because the first opportunity I get to say something about it, I'm ready. I'm ready to get on you, ready to jump on you. But if I can let it slide, I can come back to this same place again and have a new conversation with you and have a new response and reaction. That's how you know that you on that healthy grief journey. That you have said, okay, God, I'm going to let you be in control of my response and my reactions.
Let me ask you something now. Is isolation one of the form of, because I know sometimes when people go through grieving, they start isolating themselves. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, probably not the word isolation.
Okay, what word would you use?
And that's why I loved COVID, because it was two different things people would put out. People said isolation and people said quarantine. There is a period of quarantine that we all need.
Okay.
We don't need to be around people, diseased people. How about that?
Wow.
Other people that can infect us. And I'm not talking about COVID infection. I'm talking about your mental and your spiritual well-being.
Right.
Because I just did I do a first Saturday called Saturday Shift, you know, and I talked about community.
Okay.
And when you're talking about that, you need to quarantine for people who are not supposed to be in your community.
Wow.
Now, isolation.
Is it about the deposit?
Well, it's about that, and it's about how they're supporting you. Because, like you said, you had toxic people.
Right.
They wanted to stay in that place with you because that was your community.
Exactly.
Your community was only toxic people.
Oh, that's good. That is so true.
So you have to take a period of quarantine. And that's why God took us from the edifice, the church, to find the real church in us.
Yes.
So we would be only quarantined with the people who would understand our church.
Right.
So when you're talking about grief, you need to quarantine around people who can understand your grief. The thing about quarantining is really taking an assessment of your community. Because we had to figure out the people who were going to still try to stay connected with us, even during that period. Because, you know, you had people who you still FaceTime with, you know, you still, you know, all of this technology, you still reach them no matter what. You did not allow COVID to be your excuse for you not to have a relationship with them. And that's what quarantine did. It set up a precedence to say, who is my core? And that's what grief will do to you, because it's going to say, who is my core? Who can support me when I am not necessarily the most friendliest person? Who is going to walk with me when I'm at my ugliest? And who's going to walk with me and not try to manipulate me or tell me what my grief should look like or this is what I should be doing, but just give me free space.
That is good.
And that's what quarantine is. Say, okay, we can all work at home together. You got your space, I got my space, but we can still be in agreement that I'm grieving.
Wow. In the process.
That's right.
Wow. That's good.
Now, isolation means I don't need nobody else.
That's the difference.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nobody can heal by themselves, even though healing is inside work. Healing requires you to interact with other people to know that your response and reaction has changed.
Right.
Yeah, because I can stay in my house.
You can say anything. Like, yeah. Oh, I want this.
I can stay in my house for 14 days and say I don't have COVID.
Right. Exactly.
But as soon as I get out, now I've infected somebody else.
Right. Exactly.
As long as I don't have contact with nobody, everybody thinks I'm healed.
Right.
But as soon as I'm exposed and I am attacked, that is when the voice of hurt comes out. So that's when you can tell if somebody is constantly bringing you they hurt, how they feel, how you should be the one, all that's hurt. They need to sit down and really have a conversation. They might need to have a conversation with that person and just tell them how they feel like that person hurt them.
Right.
But the thing is, it's got to be told and it's got to be healed to walk through that process.
So that's where the confession comes in. Because, you know, I truly believe that's why we have these segments. We have Overcome, because they're, you know, allow people to give their testimonies, you know, and be able to confess whatever it is that, you know, they have been through.
That's why my first word is release.
Okay. That's the first word, release. So that means
have a conversation
about it.
Yeah. Your habits, release them. That, you know, emotional drama to get off the roller coaster, release it. You know, because if you get caught up in the stages, you're going to get caught up on an emotional roller coaster.
And especially if you're trying to pay attention to what stage you are in. I'm so glad you said that. Because so let's just go here, because God has his way. The world has his way. But God's way works.
Yeah, God's way is the way.
It's the way.
Yeah, you can go through all 7 of these stages, but you have no way to get off the stage.
Because they don't show you how to get off.
They don't show you to stop performing. Okay, when I'm angry, this is what I need to do. When I am sad, this is what I need to do. No, when I'm grieving and going through the processes, this is what I need to do, and these are the people that I need to have around me to support this. I say grief is a real tantrum with God.
Wow.
It's a real tantrum with God, because, you know, like my grandma over there, if she get to doing something wrong, I'm going to get her wherever she is. And that's why God is going to get you wherever you are. He's going to get you. you know, and I don't mean he gonna beat you, but he's gonna help you. Right, and that's the thing is,
meet you
right there. But the problem is we so busy hiding. Because,
that's major.
Yeah, we hide. We got so many masks on.
Yes, we do. And I think we've become accustomed to that, you know, pretending. You know, we don't want nobody to see us hurting. Like you said, you know, even when we're weak, we perform like we're strong, like nothing bothers us, nothing affects us, you know. And I think that's a what did you call that? How you get everything compulsion, get so bottled up, and
it's an inward
explosion.
You're imploding. That's why we have people who go postal. Postal is nothing but an explosion of emotions. Somebody kept telling them, "Don't talk to nobody about that. That's not a real issue," you know. And instead of saying, okay, this is an issue for me, I need to talk, you know, either my coworkers have made me mad, this situation has made me mad, I need to release this. Now, I'm not talking about going to cuss people out now.
Right.
But I need to have a conversation with somebody in a healthy way. And hey, you might need to get loud. But I'm saying, have that conversation, and definitely have that conversation with God.
Right. And so you're saying honest communication.
Yes.
Have that honest, because a lot of times people say, they're angry, but they'll say, I'm all right. Instead of just saying, I'm angry, I'm mad. You know, that situation made me mad. You hurt my feelings. And that's a form of releasing it, regardless of how they accept it or not. You know, you got it off your chest, you know, but it's still a way to do that.
Yeah, in an appropriate way, not to hurt their feelings.
Not to hurt theirs, exactly.
And the conversation is, we are so guarded on trying to make the other person, since when we are grieving, comfort them. And that is one of the worst things. People, I can tell you through my own experience, people don't never give you enough space before they start visiting you.
Okay.
Everybody visits you. Everybody wants to know how you're doing, or they want to tell you their stories about how that person meant something to them and how it hurt them. Right. And it's just like, okay, now I got to put on a face, not to break down for them so they can tell me their problems.
Okay. Yeah. So you adding weight.
Yeah, that
adds weight to you.
So that person, we need to learn how, okay, hug. And let that that's what you need to give people. Hugs. And
sometimes not say anything.
All the extra conversation that we give sometimes is a burden on that person, because now I have to take on your grief as well. Wow. I have to take on your grief, and now you don't even have time for me to conversate about my grief, because you came to me to grieve about what that person meant to you. So that's what we have to be very careful when we have friends and family. You know, we're telling our stories and what that person meant to us. There's a time, but there is space that needs to be allowed for that person to really have a conversation with themselves and with God before you begin. It's a time to remember that person and have those conversations, but right there in the midst of it, that's not the time.
What about posting though? Because we're in the time with social media. And a lot of times before the family is able to even get to that point where they're grieving, people are posting their information out before they even get a chance to post it out. So what do you think about that, Courtney?
Well, we just live in a world where everybody wants to still express that person expressing their regards, their condolences, their relationship. And I mean, we can't control other people's grief. Right. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. I mean, just like that person's going to show up at your door or make that phone call or send you that text, and you're like, okay, I can't deal with people right now. Right. You know, and so even that, you might need to take a fast from social media so you're not mad at what other people post. You're going to have to literally say, I need to take this time. And I mean, the word says that, you know, but we're in a hurry to get back to normal. Right. We're always in a hurry to get back to normal. Right. In the Bible, you know, say some people took 70 days, some people took 40 days, but when it really got to New Testament, 30 days is what God gave us. Most of us don't even take 30 days.
No, we don't.
That's why it takes us 30 years.
Wow. We take them little 3 days that your job give you and go right back to work. But you're still hurting on the inside.
Yeah, but you don't take 30 days to really have a conversation with God. We say it take 21 days to do a new habit. So why do we not take the 30 to develop a new habit without whomever it was or whatever the situation?
Oh, I got it now because I didn't click. Okay, I see what you're saying. We take the 30 days to get over or even have a conversation. Allow God to heal us and communicate with God within those 30 days. Yeah. Okay. Got you.
Yeah, but we don't do that. Like you say, first thing we go back, I'm not angry. Right. I'm okay.
Right.
And we say, just don't talk to me about it. How's that heal?
Right. Right. So you're avoiding it.
Yeah. How they don't ask me, don't talk to me, don't be around me. So that means you need time away from whatever it is that's going to keep ripping that Band-Aid off so you can heal.
Right. Or you're going to explode.
Yeah.
That's the word we was going to explode because that's what would happen.
Yeah.
So, okay. So what does healthy grieving look like?
Healthy grieving is you're actually taking time daily to have that tantrum with God. Release. So you're going through your emotions and being honest with yourself. Really crying. You know, I say cry. You know, I did this little reel. I hate reels, so I'm gonna just let it be. Where you really just have a tantrum. Cry, throw your tissue, do whatever you need to do. I ain't telling you to throw no glass plates. That's why I say tissue.
Right.
Get a box of tissue. Throw it, have your tantrum. But while you're picking that tissue back up, count your blessings.
Wow, that's good.
And then go about your day. And then if something else comes into your day, because it's going to be something that comes into your day, again, go back to that moment, that morning, and say, okay, I got tissue to pick up. I still got things to be thankful for.
Wow, that's a good one.
That's one of the easiest routines that you can do, and you're not tearing up anything. If you got a box of tissue in your office and somebody comes to do something that upsets you, take a moment, throw the tissue, and then go back and pick up your blessings. Don't leave your place looking a mess because that's all you're going to think about is the mess. That's why I say go back and pick up the blessings. The throwing it was the releasing. You know, I'm releasing this frustration. I'm releasing this anger. We have gotten so structured and calendar and time oriented. We don't give ourselves that flexibility to say, okay, I need a moment to woosah. I need a moment to throw this tissue. I need a moment to, you know, reevaluate that with this situation, this circumstance. It's not the end of me. Wow. But if we stay buried up in it, it can be, huh? Yeah, because you keep repeating it. Right. This is the worst thing that has ever happened to me. And that's the first thing that we say. Yes. I'm never going to be able to live past this moment.
We speaking into existence. Yes.
And the thing is, you don't. Yes, you're alive and functioning, but you're not living past that moment. Right. Because any time somebody asks you to do something, the first thing you say is, no, I can't do it without so-and-so whoever passed. No, I don't want to, you know, do those things. Right. You know, oh, my health is horrible. You speak it every day. You know, whatever it is, you hold on to that and you allow it to be actually your prisoner. And that's why I say we spend that time being. God has opened up the Red Sea for us to go wherever it is that he chooses for us to go. But we so busy trying to get back on the other side of the Red Sea. And all we can do is be slaves to our own mind and our own will of what we wanted. Yeah, I had a way I wanted things to work out perfectly. Right. That was your way. That was my way. But God had a way. Oh, yeah, but I had to lean in and say, okay, God, I'm going to learn the lesson. I got that. I am not Lord. I'm definitely not Savior. Right. And I had a conversation with myself. Right. Yeah. Let's talk about this. Okay, because I know that sometimes when a spouse, just like you have experienced that. But a lot of times when they get so buried and they're so close to their spouse, I've seen that the spouse want to die. They want to go, you know, be buried, or they don't want to live no more. They don't want to live. And a lot of times they don't. Some of them pass on away because they lost the love of their life. But people, they literally died of heartbreak. And that's a real thing. That's a real thing. I want to say 2 or 3 years ago, it was an actor who died of heartbreak because his son had passed. I can't remember who it was, but I remember. But people don't realize heartbreak is real. It's a real thing. It's real because the thing is, if it is not addressed, you know, people think heartbreak is something that you just say. But I mean, even not in just deaths, some people are so devastated from divorce, from separation, from being left. Like you said, your father left. That caused you to turn into a toxic person.
It did.
You were killing yourself every day.
Every day.
Some people kill themselves, and it happens in that moment because it was such a traumatic experience.
Yes.
And they don't literally drink themselves. They are poisoning their bodies because we don't realize our enzymes and all that stuff is the stress that came in and literally just ate up their insides. So they were heartbroken. The stress of that heartbreak allowed them to not get up again. And that's a real thing.
It is. And I've even heard that the heart actually breaks.
Yes.
It's a split in between that heart. That is...
It's like a pain that you cannot just say, okay, they don't have a conversation with God and say, you can heal this. They have a conversation with God. I don't want to be healed. I don't want to live without this person.
Right. Wow.
But let me tell you this. God ain't going to grant nothing that wasn't meant to be.
Okay.
Because in that case, he lets you live
and
your
we'll have control.
Yeah, he allows you to live your toxic life until he said, I'm having a conversation with you.
Yes.
If it is meant to be, he's going to allow them to live with that heartbreak until they ask for their heart to be repaired.
Yes. Yes. Because actually, when it all boils down, it is a heart condition. It is. Grieving is a condition of the heart. So that's the state. Some people stay in that state for a very long time.
And when we talk about the condition of the heart, we have to realize the condition of the heart is mental, emotional, and spiritual. Because if we really understand scripture when it talks about the heart, the overflow of everything in our heart comes out of our mouth.
That's right.
So that means that is when it controls our response and reactions. So that means you've thought it long enough for it to take root in your heart, because your anger, whether somebody died and you have revenge on your mind. That's a lot of people. They have lived their whole life in revenge, or they live their whole life because they're mad about a particular situation, and that's all you have left in you, because that has taken root, it has taken over your heart, and that's all that you've become, is just an angry person, a vengeful person.
Wow.
And the thing is, you can't have a conversation because they can't think outside of that place until they allow themselves to see. Like you said, somebody could have told you, hey, you're toxic. Hey, I don't want to be around you. You'd have been just like, cool.
Right.
Don't be around me.
Exactly.
But until you have that moment of revelation of who you are yourself, that conversation with anybody else won't help.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think it was time, because I remember where I was working. I was working at this place called a doctor's office, Hamilton Family Health Center. And then there was a guy there that worked with one of my coworkers. And he came up to me and he said, ask me this question. And, I wrote this in my book too. He said, who raised you? Because I had a smart mouth, especially towards men. And I said, why you ask me that? And he said, because you have a problem with male authority. Now, usually I would go off, but that was a time, like you said, God was opening up my heart. He was revealing.
For that conversation.
Exactly, for me to receive that. Now, did I get healed at that moment? No. But he opened it up. You know what I'm saying?
That was the first
Exactly. And made me start paying attention to my behavior when it went towards men. I had an issue with that. So he began to deal with me. It took a minute now. But he opened me up. It was a process that he took me through my deliverance. And I can truly say that God did it. From that time on, he would use people to speak to me. And, and at that moment, I would get it.
And that's what you just said. You need people in the community that speak life to you.
Yes.
Not allow you to stay in that place. Because you have people who will speak to you and allow you to stay stuck in a place. Because you're going to have people who are going to tell you, girl, it's all right if you stay angry or vengeful for the next few years. You got a right to.
Yes.
You got a right to be mad. You got a right to be angry. Do you? Do you? Go have a conversation with God.
Right.
And if we don't remember in the scripture, it says he gave his only begotten son for our wretched lives.
That's right. Come on.
For our wretched lives. And so if he gave his only begotten, there's some things we gonna have to give up and sacrifice. Whether it's our loved ones, whether it's our finances, whether it's our health. if we take the journey and really lean into God, all of that is actually to bless us with more later.
But we got to get through there.
Yeah, we got to get through.
Get past that.
I'm always talking about the beyond the loss. Beyond the loss is the blessing.
Exactly.
Yeah, beyond the loss is the blessing. But most of us get stuck in the before.
And I'm a living witness to that, because this is the best, this 15 years I can say has been the best 15 years of my life.
Amen.
And I'm saying that because I'm free. Because even in the process of the grieving, depression came, you know what I'm saying? Angry, you know, displacement. It was just a lot of things attached to that, you know. And like you said, I dressed it up. I can, you know, my therapy was the mall. So I had closets full of clothes and shoes and all this, and I still wasn't happy. That wasn't, you know, I was just trying to compensate. And now I can go without. I can go, you know, it doesn't mean anything to me anymore like it did before, you know, because I have Jesus now and God has healed me in those areas. So I know that everybody have their own process, how God is going to deliver them, because we're the same, but, you know, we have different issues.
But God created us each uniquely.
Yes. And
there is no way I can just throw a scripture out and say, this is where you are right now.
Right.
And that's what's wrong with the stage thing. I can say, oh, you're in angry, but angry is rooted out of what? What is the root of the anger? Come on,
that's it.
Where's the root of the anger?
Exactly.
And that's the difference. Because if you don't identify that grief is the root of it, that means you never learn the skills to deal with the grief. Because today, your boss grieved you. And it created an emotion of anger. It created where you wanted to lash out and get back.
Right.
You know?
Right.
But if you don't learn how to be quiet and really listen to why you want to react a certain way, and it's okay for your voice to say it, just don't let it come out your mouth, because now you've matured to the point that you're in control of your response and reaction.
Exactly.
It's not saying that you might not have the thought. It's just saying that now I have control of my response and reaction because I know what that trigger was.
That's what I was going to say. I had to learn my triggers. That's it. Right.
And that's the thing about grief. What did grief trigger in you? What did it trigger in you? How is it throwing you off your assignment? How is it throwing you off your destiny?
Right.
Because it was. What did the word says? The enemy came to kill, steal, and destroy. So he's stealing your happiness, your joy. He killing you from being in control of your own life.
Yes.
You know, and when I say control, we know God is in ultimate control, but God gave us free will.
Come on now.
So it's the free will that throws us into a frenzy where we cannot truly be blessed.
That's it. That's it. I want to open it up for questions just in case that we may have missed something that, and I think she covered it all, but just in case you all have any questions, I want to open it up on Facebook. If you all have any questions for her, because this is a very, you know, as a country, when pandemic took all of us into grieving. We were grieving before that.
We just didn't realize.
We didn't realize it. But if we didn't realize it when we went into that pandemic, you know, that the whole world was grieving at that time because we suffered a loss. But like she said, some of us, I'm going to say that even in the time of the pandemic, I still was blessed. You know what I'm saying? I took time with myself. You know, I like you said, and then families came together in that time of quarantine.
They knew what quarantining meant versus isolation.
Right. So it made a major difference, but it also impacted us in a good way and a bad way. You know, so I want to open it up to for anybody that have any questions that they may want to ask her. Okay, I'm going to read what Latif said. Hold on.
Okay.
He says, maybe I need to read before that.
Yeah, you actually got stuff way before that.
Way before that. He says, thank you so much for sharing, ladies. Okay, let me go down because he has Evangelist Hicks says, absolutely, you are forever changed. Right. Now, Latif says, it was a point in time where I had to know I chose to be my brother's keeper when he had back-to-back deaths in his family that broke him down with grief. I knew that there was no words at that moment I could say that could comfort him more than just my presence and silence while he digests the unbearable pain that death brings and is back to back. If you want to elaborate on that.
I think you did the wisest thing. First of all, silence and presence is the best gift that you can give people.
Mm-hmm.
It's the best gift. If you can come and cook for them or get them out to bed and just be quiet and be there because they know somebody is supporting them on the journey, that means they have somebody else that loves them doing the journey. We can't talk anybody out of anything. We can't push anybody out of things. As wonderful as a stretcher or strategist I consider myself to be,
right?
You still got to make a choice.
Come on,
to take that journey.
Yes.
So the best thing you can do is to be quiet until somebody asks, "Will you walk with me on this journey?" Because the thing is, if I'm dragging you, then you become awake from me because you didn't choose to go on this journey. And then I'm mad every time you trying to go back.
Right.
So that means I'm spending energy always on running back to you to try to drag you along when it was not my assignment to do that.
Yes.
If God sent you, he told you exactly what to do. And most of the time, we do the opposite. God told us to show up to go clean somebody's house, but we ran our mouth too much when we was over there.
Right. Right.
God said drop a meal off at the door. He did not say go in and fellowship with them.
Come on.
And have anything else. Stick to the assignment.
Yes.
Because a lot of times we stretch what God told us. In that disobedience, we hurt that person and us.
Right.
So he did the best thing, knowing that at that time, there was not anything specific that he could say that would change until he made a choice. And I'm going to, because back to back, yes, it's even greater. Because, I mean, like I was telling you, we had the press here today. Right. 60 days ago, we had the same press. So we just went through back to back.
Yes.
So when you're talking about, yes, people experience that differently. It will cause somebody heartbreak, and it's going to cause them to pass. It's going to cause somebody else health conditions because they're not going to sit down and really meditate with God. And that means the chemicals in their body are going to take them through some changes. Because if you don't have the conversation you need to with God, your body will take over. Because God gave us free will.
Yes,
so,
that's true.
And that's what I'm saying. So it's going to affect every person differently if they have not. And you cannot make that person do what you want to. You can't will another person to live.
Right.
I can get on the altar and pray for your life and fast for 90 days over you. But if you choose not to hear God when he knocks at your door and invite him in, I can't even come open the door for you.
Right. Exactly.
I can't. So that's the only thing you can do is sit and be present and say, God is here. And say, I hope they will let him in.
Yes. Oh, that's good. That is good. We have another question from Kimberly Dawn Hicks. She says, how do you know when you've rounded a corner, gained some ground in moving forward?
Moving forward. Because the fact that you even asked that question, because that means you want to know that you're gaining ground. Right. You're not so consumed with the past. Whenever you can say, am I progressing? That means you know you're progressing because you know you're wanting to make a move. You're conscious of movement. Come on. Movement is going to look different for each and every person. You know, some people, it's going to be 30 days. And that's great. Yeah. Some people, it might be 3 years because they have to process some things about them more. A lot of people got regret. And you don't have regret because you were good with your relationship with that person. Right. You know, some people might have had a horrible last conversation with that person and they got to deal with that. So the only difference is when you move forward, don't expect everybody else to move at that same pace. Don't say, okay, I got over this person's death. You need to get over it, and we need to get to moving. That's what we do wrong in a society. Or we say, I don't want to hear any more about it. So we end up isolating that person instead of doing like the brother did and said, okay, maybe I'm not going through it like you are, but why don't I just sit with you in silence?
Yeah.
Even if it means I just read a prayer over you.
Right.
Even if it means I just turn on some music that will help your spirit. You know, do something positive that allows that person to know, you know.
You there for them.
Yes.
Just
and
there.
Just there. Just so you can set the atmosphere.
Yeah.
And that's why I say it's about that community. And if you're asking the question, am I moving forward? You're moving forward because you've already began a mental process. So now you just need to say, okay, where is it that I'm trying to go?
Oh, that's good. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Where is it I'm trying to go?
What does it look like to her? To that person. Yeah.
I always ask people, you know, my clients, I say, what is your desired result? Every day. What is it, your end result? Like for me, my end result is peace, no matter what. My desired result, and my husband will tell you, I will cut off whatever it is that think it's gonna steal my peace.
That's how I
can be in the middle of something, and as soon as a person or a thing that walks in begins to aggravate the atmosphere of my peace, I know how to pick it up. Like God said, you better pick your rug up, roll it up, shake it, because that means they ain't willing to accept what you have brought.
Right.
They don't want your peace.
Right. Exactly.
And when you don't want my peace, I know how to roll up the rug, shake it, and get to moving.
And get on out of there. Right. My children used to say that. You always talk about your peace. I said, you know what? When you get to this place, you're going to understand.
Yeah, when you
why
find
it's so
peace,
precious.
when you find peace,
when you find it, I'm telling you.
You're not going to allow anybody else to steal a piece of it.
Nobody.
Yeah. I'm not at the place I'm trying to give anybody a piece of my mind, you know, let them know how I feel, all of that stuff. I've grown to the point that I have I'm going to be in control of my own feelings. I'm going to keep my own mind because I have just a little bit to hold on to. So I'm going to make sure I hold on to all of that.
All of it. Oh, and now let me go up because I was scrolling back. I just want to go back to you, Kimberly. Dawn Hicks, where you say one thought can trigger the loss.
Yes.
Grief to me is so unpredictable.
It is. That is why you have to have tools in place. Because it could be a scent. It could be the sound of a motorcycle.
Yes.
It could be the color of a flower, a hummingbird, or whatever that triggers you to that place. But when the trigger hits, you need to have something in place that keeps you stable. And that's why I say you need to have leaned into God so that you know how to release whatever it is. And if in that moment, you need to say, where's my pack of tissue? Grab it out your purse, grab it out your pocket, whatever it is, get to tearing it up. Even if it's just a mental place, I'm throwing tissue. Okay, let me pick up these blessings. And even in that place, you know, when you smelling that, you know, fragrance, you can say, okay, God, this is not a place that's a bad place. This is a good memory.
Yes.
You know, go ahead and thank him that you had the opportunity to smell and say, okay, God, what is it that you want me to see right here? What is it you want me to feel right here? What is the lesson of this right here? You know, so don't get me caught here. You know, we have conversations with God about the big stuff.
Right.
But we forget every little trigger is for a reason. So grief is unpredictable. That's why I say you can't put it on like you going through 8 stages, 6 stages, 5 stages, however many performances you want to do, and then it's just over.
Right.
No, it's not. You need to know how to deal with those triggers. And that's why I say you have to have a way that you know you are releasing. Because that's just like a gun. That's always got a bullet in it. And as soon as the trigger come off, you're going to either shoot the bullet at somebody else or yourself. That means somebody is going to feel the hurt and harm or danger if you have not controlled shooting the bullet. So it needs to be something else that you have in place of the bullet.
Wow. Can you give them some idea? Or it depends on the person, right?
Yeah, but
it depends on the person.
It depends on the person, and it might not even be death. It might, like you lost a job and you saw a coworker.
You're right, yes.
And you wanna all you wanna do is talk about, man, I can't believe that was the best job I ever had, and that coworker don't even want to talk to you because all you talk about is what happened when they be like
at
that place, at the job,
yes.
all the negativity. They be like, "Woo, Jesus, let me not run into this person again."
Because they don't want to be reminded and keep hearing that stuff all over and over again. Wow. Well, I think that's it with the questions. I was trying to find some because maybe we, because it's just a lot that's going on in the world, and we do need to know how to place this stuff, dispense these different feelings and emotions. So I appreciate you coming and teaching us,
I appreciate it.
Yes, because you gave some valid points, and some things that, I didn't even know, So even in that, where can they find you? Let them know where they can find you. Because so you do counseling, you do private counseling.
Yes, I do.
Group too as well?
I do. And the thing that I have just launched is actually a membership program, which gives you access to me 365 days.
Okay.
So that way you learn these tools, and if today is that day that trigger came on, you gotta you'll get a message from me that morning. So you already got a tool in place. Say, okay, if this happens to me today, I already have my tool in place. So you'll get a daily tool from me. You'll get a weekly call from me, and then we'll have a monthly workshop. And I know I'm gonna tell y'all, it's $1.01 investment a day. $1.01 a day. That's all you invest.
Did you? Wait a minute. Let me go back on here. I gotta go back. Did y'all get that? $1.01 a day. $1.01 a day. Listen. Courtney, give them your information. Like, how can they get you?
You go to either my Facebook page, which is the Relationship Service Station, or to my website, the Relationship Service Station, and the membership program is there. So that way you are having that positive, somebody constantly having a positive word with a strategy.
Come on,
with a strategy.
Yes.
The thing is, it's great to be motivated.
Yes.
But I am telling you there's some implementation. I'm going to motivate you to make the move so you know that you're moving beyond the loss.
Right.
And then I'm not going to just assume you're doing it. We're going to have a weekly call to make sure you did some of these strategies.
So you're their accountability.
Yes.
Wow. See, that's good for $1.01 a day. Come on. Look, I'm doing her commercial. Now you did write a book too, right?
Yes.
So let them know about your book too. I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm telling you, I'm interested.
So if you want to, it's a workbook.
Okay.
And it's called Growing with Grief.
Okay.
So it actually takes you through 90 days, a 4-week process. Is that 90 weeks? No, 30 days. I'm sorry. I can't think what 4 weeks is. Okay. I have another 90-day program. But you have a 4-week program, and it really takes you through what I'm talking about is learning how to release. So you do the work with the workbook, and it takes you through those 4 weeks. And plus, in there is a journal, so you're writing out your feelings. In there is also pages so you can write out your community who is going to support you on this grief journey. So It's making you analyze the people around you, the things around you, what you need to release. You're actually writing a reintroduction letter in there to tell who you have become through this process. So, I mean, I'm telling you, this work now. It's not going to be one of these workbooks where they just have one question at the top, like a little journal.
And then you just write.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. It is 97 pages of work.
Wow, that is good. So where can they
It's on my website as well. Relationship Service Station is where everything began. And our goal, and when I say our goal, my husband is my partner no matter if he stands on the screen with me or not, but he makes sure everything happens.
Right.
He's the real mechanic in life.
Right. Well, you are actually our team.
Yes, we are.
Okay.
We are a team. And so that's why I say he's the real mechanic in life. And he makes sure, God's words gets on our page every day to supply people. So on that journey, I just want people to go to the Relationship Station, and whether it's they need social fuel or they need to meet me in person, so it's really that's why it's the Relationship Service Station. Okay. We're there to kind of serve you to have your best relationship with God, self, and others.
And it doesn't matter where you're located at.
No,
right?
That's the beauty of it.
Okay.
That $1.01, I will reach you all around the world.
All around the world. Awesome. Well, I'm excited about it. I mean, I got some really good meat. I know you all got some meat too for today. Look, for free. We ain't even paid $1.01 now. But you can get her services. Yeah. Look, I'm back doing my commercial for $1.01. Go to, say it again.
Relationship Service Station.
Relationship Service Station. You also can follow Courtney on Facebook.
Yeah, you can follow me personally, and it'll automatically lead you back to the Relationship Service Station. I am Cortney Lee Smith, and you tagged me, so they can find me. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, it might not be you today. The beauty of this $1.01, this is ever evolving 365 days. That's why I created it. So this might not be your first day, but it is somebody else's
first day. Wow.
Mm-hmm. And it may be your first day to get on and decide, I want to make some moves. I want to not be responding and reacting the same. I look good on the outside.
Right.
But I want to change my response and reactions.
Yes.
You know, I done made sure people don't see me crying. Made sure, I done laid the cucumbers on my face this morning to make sure they know I didn't sleep. And I'm telling you, this is for my own. So, we all went through the cover up to act like we were doing good.
Yes, exactly. And there's a point in time where we got to face ourselves and confront those issues. But I appreciate you so much from coming out, Courtney. You all don't even know that she really came off the expressway to come here. She hasn't even made it home yet. So I'm telling you, I appreciate her so much for taking the time and, being able to share with us, because I'm telling you, I believe this topic is very much so needed. But if we're serious right now though, if you need her services, now she is available. We got to stop suppressing stuff as a culture.
Yes.
We suppress everything. You have to have a avenue where you can express yourself, where you can talk. Now these sessions, you have private sessions as well as group sessions. So, invest in yourself, because that's what you really be doing. As we talked about that peace, that's something you cannot purchase with money, period. It comes from the Prince of Peace. And what I like about yours is all godly based. It's all about God. And most therapists and life coaches are not going to tell you about God. They done got theirs from how, do it just exactly how the world do it. But even in the world, they say that you got to go through a higher power in order for this to work. But we say you got to go through God.
Yeah. And that's why I say
the name Jesus,
grief
God
is meant for you to lean in.
Yes.
Grief is meant for you to lean in closer to God, get a better relationship with Him. So I'm encouraging you all. And you know what? I'm going to even tell y'all the free resources I got. I got so many free resources. So if y'all don't even want to invest $1.01 in your life, I'm going to even give you something better than that. I have on YouTube, I have over 200 videos probably on YouTube.
Do you?
Yes.
Wow.
And people tell me to take them down because I'm giving away too much free information.
Yes.
But God give me something new every day. So y'all run through them and y'all will never hear me say the same thing again, because God gives me a new revelation every day. So
awesome.
So it is okay. I would tell you, like I said, I do a first Saturday. Mm-hmm. It is 27 episodes on there about shifting through grief and beyond loss.
Okay.
There is a radio show that me and my husband do together, and that is on YouTube, and it's making positive moves, positive progress beyond loss. All godly strategies. So those are two shows that are very great. I have a show, a midnight hour, that I have done with some other people to tell their testimonies, so that you might relate to that. So I want you to see, I don't want you to pay your $1.01 today, because I might not be your cup of tea. But
I think you will.
The thing is, if you share it with somebody, let them know where those different resources are, because we don't share resources. So definitely share those resources, because I put them out there and I get up and share at 6 o'clock in the morning on Saturday to make sure it starts everybody months off in a very positive place. So
awesome. So on YouTube is Courtney?
The Relationship Service Station.
Oh, it's still Relationship Service Station. So make sure you guys, you go to that YouTube, but make sure, listen, if you want an up close and personal conversation with her, go there. Sign up. Sign up. She's available. We have to start this too. And I just believe in this, investing in our own people too as well. putting that dollar, because we will go out there and we'll get therapists and but they're not leading you to Christ. They're not leading you to the true healing. A lot of times they'll keep you coming, putting Band-Aids over your situation, but only God is the true healer. Amen. So she wants you to come and leave out restored.
Yes, I'm not trying to get you to stay.
She don't want you to stay and not even stay too long. So, she has this process that God has given her. So make sure that you go look her up. We thank you so much. Let me see if somebody's saying anything else, but we're going to let her go, y'all. We're going to let her go. Okay, no more. Okay, that might be your friend right there. Yes. I love you, Cortney Lee Smith, and I'm blessed to be connected with you. Amen. Well, God bless you all. We thank you all for joining. We're going to sign out now. We're going to let her go home and her husband go home. She done poured out enough, but make sure you continue to pray for her and pray for her ministry, because this is a ministry. All right? Well, God bless you. God keep you, and bye for now.